there and welcome. I'm so excited to be with you today because today I'm going to be sharing with you 5 key things that a man needs to feel to fall in love and commit. Now, I've been privileged over the last few years to interview hundreds of men as a part of my work to help women deeply understand what's really going on in the hearts and minds of men. And many of those interviews are here on my YouTube channel. And one of the things that I've been able to do as a result of doing all of these interviews with men is I've been able to ask them some of the biggest questions that women have about men, love, dating, relationships. What makes a man fall in love? What makes a man choose one woman over another? What makes a man want to commit for a loving, lasting relationship? And so I'm going to share with you today 5 S words, starting with S, that men have shared with me that they need to feel in order to fall in love. Now, this is mainly for men that are looking for a committed partnership relationship. And I will say that most of the men that I've interviewed have been a little more mature, men who are over 40. And so a lot of this feedback is going to be particularly valuable to you, especially if you're in that category of being a woman over 40. But I also believe these 5 S words really apply to any man who's really serious about wanting to have a significant, meaningful partnership relationship with a woman. My name is Marchant Johnson, and I am so blessed to work with exceptional women around the world to help them meet and attract the right man and have an extraordinary relationship with him. Most of the women that I work with are looking for that love of their lives kind of relationship, a loving, committed partnership or marriage. And so I interview men and talk to men who are also interested in having that kind of relationship and want to share those things with you today. So we're going to talk about 5 S words, words that start with S, that are really key in terms of things that a man has to feel in order to fall in love and want to commit to a woman. Now, you will notice as I go through these that most of these are also things that a woman would want to feel in a relationship, but we're going to look at it a little bit more from the male perspective, since most of my audience here is women who want to have a relationship with a man. So the first S is sexual attraction. Now, this is kind of the obvious one. Both men and women want to have an attraction to the person that they want to be in partnership with. And for men that are not necessarily looking for a loving, committed partnership relationship, that maybe they're just looking for some action or a hookup, this one can stand alone on its own. But sexual attraction is something that a man also wants in a relationship that would go the distance. And I think that's important to most women too. I do think having that attraction is really key. And it's really important because it's part of what makes a romantic relationship different and distinct from any other kind of relationship in our lives. And it's definitely a way to experience a different kind of connection with a man and a woman in an intimate way that can be really meaningful and significant in a partnership, relationship, or marriage. So that is really key. Having that sexual attraction or that spark is really important. Now, what I also know is men have shared with me that in the beginning, the attraction is typically either there or it's not. And this is one way that sometimes can be different for men than women. Men don't typically grow in terms of their level of attraction for a woman if it's not there in the beginning. Whereas a woman can sometimes, and I say sometimes, grow in her attraction to a man in terms of the physical attraction and chemistry when she gets to know him and experiences who he is and his heart and character qualities. In other words, the way he shows up can make him increasingly more attractive. Now, men's initial attraction can decrease if a woman is showing up in a way that is unflattering or unappealing. But typically for men, the attraction, that initial spark is either there or it's not. And for most men, this is really important. And then, like I say, we could leave it right there for men that are not necessarily looking for anything beyond that. But for men that are looking for a loving, committed partnership relationship, someone who they want to have as a girlfriend and potentially partner or wife, men have shared with me that it goes deeper than that. It goes beyond that initial attraction. So the second one that I would like to speak about is he needs to be seen. This is number 2. He needs to be seen by you. He needs to feel like you get who he is, like you see him in a way perhaps that's unique from the way other people see him. In other words, you see him as being someone that you can appreciate, admire, respect, trust. You see him as someone who is of value. He has value to you. You see him and you might feel a deep connection with him based on who he is and his mission in life and his goals in life and that sort of thing. He needs to be able to feel like he's competent. And what I mean by that is you feel trusting of him and you feel comfortable in allowing him to show up in the relationship. Now, of course, a man needs to be able to follow through and he needs to be able to earn this kind of thing, but he wants to be seen as someone unique and valuable in your life. And one example of this that I really like comes from the movie Jerry Maguire. So, of course, the very famous line in Jerry Maguire is, "You complete me." We're not talking about that line. That's a whole nother topic there. But the scene that I really, really like is Cuba Jr. Gooding's character is kind of a free agent, and his agent is played by Tom Cruise in this particular movie. And at one point, he's the only client of Tom Cruise, and he's this free agent, and Tom Cruise is trying to get him a deal from the team. And he gets an offer, but it's not really an outstanding offer. In fact, it's a pretty disappointing offer. And Cuba Gooding Jr. and Tom Cruise are having a conversation on the phone, and he's just saying, is this as good as it gets? And should I take this offer? And what should I do here? And the woman that plays Cuba Jr. Gooding's wife, she basically says, oh no, we're not taking this offer. You are a proud Black man and you are going to hold out for what you're worth. I'm paraphrasing here, but you get the idea. In other words, she sees him as valuable and someone that has something of value to offer. And she's reminding him and believing in him and giving him that confidence that he is worthy of holding out for something that's going to be more meaningful and significant for him in terms of an offer from a team. And so it's because of her encouragement that he holds out. You might recall if you've seen the movie, he holds out and gets a much, much better offer in the end, which is a big win for everyone involved. But it's because of her belief in him and the way she really sees him. She kind of sees him as like her hero and as valuable, and she is willing to remind him of that. And men have shared with me how important that can be, because out there in the big, broad world, they don't always get that kind of reinforcement or feedback from other people. And men live in a world where they experience a lot of competition. And so do women. But in particular, this can be, you can be the one person that can see these kind of things in a man that he might not get from any other source. So being seen by you, truly seen by you, is the second S word. The third one goes along with this. He needs to be able to feel successful. He needs to be able to feel like he's successful in being able to provide something for you that is valuable to you. And he needs to believe that on some level he can make you happy. So this doesn't mean that you rely on him for every single thing, but he needs to feel like there's something that he has to contribute to you in your life that is valuable. And that makes him feel like he's winning, quote unquote, winning. So it's kind of a win-win situation when he can feel like he's successful in providing something for you that is of value to you and a benefit to you. And that is a win-win because you can get more of your wants and needs met, and he can get that acknowledgement, that appreciation, and that feeling that he gets from being able to provide something for you that is of value. And we as women, I've shared this analogy before in some of the other conversations that I have here on YouTube or in some of my interviews, but we as women can kind of set a man up to win. We can help him to feel successful. And one of the ways that we can do that is by sharing what it is that we'd like in a nice, lovely way, or asking what we'd like without expecting him to just know this automatically, and then letting him follow through, execute, plan that, and then giving him that positive feedback for providing that for us. That's like called graciously receiving. So an example of that would be when my husband and I got married 15 years ago, one of the things that we talked about is we would never have an upset or a breakdown as a result of one or the other of us forgetting about a holiday, an anniversary, or a birthday, or Christmas, or that sort of thing, because we would share with each other what we wanted to have happen, and we would plan ahead. And so, for example, when it comes to gets near our anniversary time, one of the things I might say to my husband is I might say, you know, honey, what I'd really like to do for our anniversary, what would really make me happy is if we could go stay in that one little bed and breakfast that we stayed in on our 5th anniversary. And we could do that again and just spend a lovely weekend together, just kind of getting away from it all. And then I'd say, what do you think? And he'd say, I think that sounds great. And then I would say, would that be something you could plan for us and make the reservations and get that all set up so that we can have that lovely weekend to look forward to? So even though I'm planting the seed and initiating the idea, I'm giving him the opportunity to follow through, to execute, to set it up, to plan the reservations. And then I get to relax and allow him to do that for me. So then when we go on the lovely weekend together, then I have an opportunity to acknowledge, appreciate, enjoy, express how happy I am. And I can say, thank you so much for setting this all up and making the arrangements for this, because I can't imagine any other place I'd rather be right now than right here with you. So in other words, if you think of it being a basketball analogy, I'm like the guard dribbling the ball down the court, and I'm passing this off to my husband, who might be in the position of being a forward or the center. He's closer into the basket and can make that easier basket. And he technically makes the points. But of course, I fed him the ball, but he technically makes the points. But because we're on the same team, because we're in a marriage partnership, we both win. So it creates this win-win scenario. So I'm just giving you that as an example in terms of a way that a technique that you can sometimes use to help a man and set him up to win so that he can feel successful. He can feel like he's winning. He's making points with you, but you also get to win too, because you get to be happy with what he's providing for you. And then you acknowledge and appreciate that. And it's a win-win for both. So it's graciously receiving. And that's part of what makes a man feel successful. And I don't think that we as women often understand how meaningful and significant it is for a man when he can feel like he's really providing something of value for you and you're really acknowledging and appreciating it. That is one thing that has come through so clearly to me in speaking with all of these men over the last number of years. So that's number 3, successful. Number 4 is solidarity, meaning you've got his back, there's loyalty, there's trust. You can be a confidant for each other. He can share his deepest, most meaningful dreams, his secrets, his failures, his disappointments, his fears. This is something that he may not be able to share with anyone else on the planet because of the kind of relationship that you have. And he knows that you're together, the two of you together, and you've got each other's backs, and you have that loyalty and trust no matter what ups and downs of life come. You know, in my now 15-year marriage, my husband and I have had a lot of amazing times together, and we've also had some challenging times. Not so much because of challenges between us, but challenges as a result of just things that have happened in life. My cancer diagnosis and cancer journey, him going through some significant job transitions, outside family things that have been going on. Both of us have lost our mothers during the period of time that we've been married. and, what led up to that and their passing. And so, as a result of just life and some of the significant challenges that life can bring, he and I have been through a lot together. And what often happens during those times when life or circumstances put a lot of pressure on a relationship, it either can strengthen the relationship and strengthen the bond and strengthen the love and commitment that you have to each other, or it can go in the opposite direction and can potentially break people apart. But fortunately, if you and the man that you're with have this solidarity of sorts, this trust, this loyalty, knowing you've got each other's backs, knowing that you're truly committed to each other and the relationship, this builds a kind of trust and a kind of love that can go the distance through these challenges. So just like for a woman, we would likely be looking for this kind of thing in a loving, committed partnership, relationship, or marriage. Men want to feel that they have that solidarity as well with the woman that they are in partnership with. And this goes along with number 5, which is he needs to feel safe. So the 5th word is safety. Now, when we think about safety as women, of course, we think physical safety, and we also think of emotional safety. And I think there's a distinction here because I don't think most men feel threatened in terms of their physical safety when it comes to being with a woman. I mean, of course, there might be rare exceptions, but for the most part, for men, it's more that emotional safety. Again, kind of talking about them being able to share their most raw feelings, their emotions, their dreams, their hopes, their failures, their disappointments, where there's a soft place to land, where they know that what they share is going to stay between the two of you, that it's going to be safe for him to share that. You're still going to love him and believe in him and support him and have that solidarity with him. And this is so meaningful and significant. When I have interviewed men, I've actually had men like tear up or even cry when they talk about this. I had one man who said to me, he said, we don't have some of the support or some of the network that women often have in terms of being able to share a lot of our feelings and a lot of the things that are going on in our lives with our friends. It's more like, hey, dude, how's it going? Or, bonding over activities or, talking about just kind of work or kind of things on more of a surface level. And bonding with their male friends like that. But when it comes to being able to talk about feelings or what's really going on or some of their fears, a lot of men don't have a lot of sources that they can turn to for that. And so a lot of them can feel very isolated and lonely. And of course, during these last couple of years, many of us have felt isolation and loneliness. But this is almost an epidemic type phenomenon that existed far before the pandemic, is the loneliness and the isolation that men in particular can feel. And I'm not saying women don't feel that too. I'm just saying they typically don't have the same kind of network or support that many women have. And so when men have shared this with me and how important it is that they have an outlet where they can feel emotionally safe, they've actually gotten quite emotional with me. And one man said to me, if we don't have you, what do we have? It's like our life doesn't mean a whole lot if it's just about the work and the money and trying to have success out there. If we have no ability to share the deepest parts of ourselves, our deepest thoughts and hopes and feelings with someone, what do we have? And so being able to feel emotionally safe and knowing that the woman that a man is with will not take advantage of his areas of weakness or vulnerabilities or exploit those, and that he can be emotionally safe with a woman. This is an incredible feeling for a man, an incredibly valuable feeling. And part of what really creates that ability for a man to open up and share in a really meaningful way with the right woman. Now, of course, some of these things take time to develop and evolve. But I'm just sharing with you some of the key things that men have shared with me in terms of feelings, things that they want to feel in order to be able to feel safe and comfortable, to really open up, let a woman into his heart, fall in love, commit to a woman and stay with a woman for life. So these are some really key important things to know. So just a quick review. He wants to feel that sexual attraction or spark. He wants to be seen by you in a unique way. He wants to be able to feel successful with you. He wants to have that solidarity, that trust with you, and he needs to feel emotionally safe. So if you like this video, please share a comment or thought below. I'd love to also hear what you would like to feel in a relationship as a woman with a man. But please leave a comment below, share your thoughts. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up and also share the video with friends or other people that you think would find this valuable. And if you haven't already, I would really love it if you would subscribe to my YouTube channel. That would mean a lot. It helps support me doing this work and help support my guests. And I would be deeply honored to have you as a subscriber. Thank you so much for watching. I'm so glad that you're here. And thank you for the opportunity to share a few moments with you today. I look forward to being back in touch with you soon. Oh, and don't forget, make sure to click in the description because I have a lovely gift for you. 10 secrets every woman needs to know about men. It's an ebook and audio training, and I think you're really going to love it. So check for that in the description, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.